Hello everyone and welcome back to Dubai Sports Hub. This is your Barclays Premier League Week in Review, where we have a comprehensive look of all the happenings in the Barclays Premier League and also a bit of banter as to who got kicked up, who got rolled up, and who got relegated. Join us.
Dubai Entertainment, Salah Salah.
So welcome back everyone. I'd like to ask for those of you who haven't yet subscribed to this channel, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and become a part of the family as we grow together. Now, this week has been a pretty interesting week in the Barclays Premier League. A few ups and downs, a few here and there, a few near misses, and some shocking decisions by the referees. Now, everybody may have a tendency to camp out and be all down on the referee. Personally, I say work with the ref. Work with the ref. We may not always agree on all his or her decisions, but hey, the ref is in charge. The ref is in charge. Now, we'll take a quick review of some of the matches that took place in the Premier League this week. So we started off with Everton versus Arsenal. Arsenal won, Everton won. And it was a pretty lucky escape for Everton, to be fair. Their penalty was quite questionable. Quite questionable. One of the shocking decisions from the referee, as persons will be all over that. A lot of pundits were equally disappointed. I'm sure the Arsenal fans were very, very disappointed. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I guess you'll bounce back, invest in the transfer market come this summer, and try and build your team better, and at least give somebody else a challenge for the league next season. Personally, I don't think they're going to win it anyways. Brighton 1, Crystal Palace 2. This was a game marred with indiscipline. 3 red cards, as you would have observed there. 3 red cards issued out. But Crystal Palace eventually saw the win, and kudos to them as they climbed the table. Now a relegation 6-pointer between Ipswich Town and Wolves turned out to be quite the game. Wolves finding a late winner. Ipswich took the lead and they were playing pretty good football. Pretty good football at one time. But Wolves persevered and they came through, and they actually came through and won the game. So kudos to them. Bournemouth 2, West Ham 2. A game of 4 goals. A game which the strikers really stepped up. Lots of creativity from both teams. And this is what you want to see in the Premier League. Both teams going for it and fighting for something. Very good game between those two. Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Now, after beating Manchester United, Nottingham Forest would have been on a high horse. Flying high, trying to get into that top 4. However, Villa also has their own ambitions of getting into the top 4, especially if they do not win the Champions League, which I highly doubt they will. I highly doubt Villa will do anything to PSG. This is the end of the road for them, so one of the best options is to try and get into that top 4 to ensure that they're playing European football at the highest level next season. Now on Sunday, Chelsea traveled to Brentford. It was an absolute shocking starting 11 put out by Enzo Maresca. However, he has his motives. As he said, he was rotating and resting players. Players need to be rested, blah, blah, blah. But isn't this why you rotate at the beginning of the season? So you can have your best players for the run-in. He's possibly prioritizing the Conference League for whatever reasons. I do not know whatever is going through the mind of Enzo Maresca and those the powers that be at Stamford Bridge. But hey, well done Brentford to holding them to a draw. The point is a point gained for Brentford. It may be 2 points dropped for Chelsea as it relates to their top 4 hopes. Fulham delivered a really, really good match today, giving Liverpool the sucker punch that they needed, because to be frank, Liverpool was getting complacent, and it's obvious that they're getting complacent. Yes, the title is in the bag. Kudos to them. Well done, Liverpool. You did the hard work earlier in the season, and because all of the other teams have been so below par, Liverpool ran away with it. So kudos to them. They did the job. They did the hard work early in the season, but this is not the time for complacency. That's the best advice that we can give to Arne Slot and his men. Tottenham Hotspur, one of the highest scoring teams in the league, did roll up Southampton today. Signed, sealed, and delivered their relegation notice. Southampton are out of the league with an unwanted record. They are the first team to be relegated with 7 games to spare. Southampton has only gotten 10 points from their 31 games with a wonderful goal difference of minus 51. And let's hope we can add some more to that whenever they play. But Southampton, this is the time to grab your pride, plan for the future, sell dibbling, get some money, and try and win that championship, or at least in the automatic promotion spot for the other 2 seasons in 2027. The Manchester Derby. Highly anticipated derby. But for some persons, it was an absolute snooze fest. Personally, as a Manchester United fan, I watched the game. We played pretty well. We absolutely balled them today. Now, had it been that we didn't have persons learning and developing like Dorgu and Garnacho, we would have won that game. 2-0 minimum. Casemiro was very, very good in the middle of the park, but Dorgu got quite a few chances and skied them. He doesn't have a right foot, so one of the chances that Garnacho gave him, he could have just hit it one time, but he tried to control it. Poor touch, and the chance was gone. However, City never really made any threat. There were some very good performances. Harry Maguire stepped up in the absence of Matthias de Ligt, and he actually played very well. Shout out to Nusir Mazraoui. He did pretty well as well. The reigning Premier League Player of the Month, the Magnifico, Bruno Fernandes, he put in a stellar performance as well. Very creative. He dominated the middle of the park, and he showed Kevin De Bruyne what it's like to be a captain in a Manchester derby and running a midfield. The only thing that was missing is the goals from Manchester United. City, on the other hand, they are, let's be honest, City are a shadow of themselves. They have no legs in the midfield. Bernardo Silva has been a very good player, but his time is up. Kovacic, a very good player over his career, he can't handle it anymore. And I'm not saying that on the bias of Manchester United, because Casemiro clearly can't handle it anymore. But if Casemiro could ball and handle those guys, which I absolutely enjoyed, it says a lot about them. Kevin De Bruyne has announced he's leaving. Kudos to him for whatever he does in his career. And Phil Foden is out of form. And is no threat to anyone. Honorable mentions from City team. That Nunes kid that they are playing out of position, he played very good. Matheus Nunes, they took him from Wolves. And Omar Marmoush has been a shining light for them and has been very good since Erling Haaland has been absent. City's only choice now is to go and try and win that FA Cup and try and get into the top 4, which Villa, Chelsea and Newcastle may have something to say about that. So kudos to them and good luck to them as they go forward. Which leads us to our final match, which comes up on Monday between Newcastle and Leicester City. Leicester City, another bottom of the barrel team. Newcastle, a team that is trying to get into Europe. Newcastle will have their own ambitions. Leicester has theirs to stay in the league for as long as possible. Now, I'm throwing it out there. Leicester, you're down. It's quite unfortunate that Ruud van Nistelrooy took the job. He had his own ideas and his own hopes that he could have turned it around and helped them to grow and gather the points to keep them in the league. However, the 3 teams that came up are surely going down. Wolves are better than them. And with the win over Ipswich, I think all 3 of them fates were sealed. Now we take a look at the Premier League table. Liverpool will be champions. They're out there cruising along. A lot of points clear ahead of everybody else. Arsenal is not catching them in any way, shape or form. Arsenal has the opportunity to secure second place in the next few games, which they should be doing. Looking at their fixtures, pretty smooth sailing for them, and they can focus on trying to give Real Madrid a game in the Champions League. Never going to happen. Nottingham Forest will be going into the Champions League. I'm calling it from now. They have been doing very well. They'll be making that Champions League cut. Chelsea, Man City, and Newcastle will be fighting for the final 4th spot. And Aston Villa. Man United down there languishing in 13th. Let's hope for a bigger finish from them. Tottenham as well has an opportunity to change their season. They and Manchester United in that Europa League. There are some tough teams in there. However, they should be able to pull through. The refereeing decisions this week fall under the category of quite shocking, disappointed, and quite questionable, and this includes VAR. Now, it has been put forward and discussed that they will be doing automated offsides starting next week for the final 7 games of the season. I don't see why they didn't start this in preseason, but for the best league in the world, it's quite a farce. Let us see how it works. The referee does need the help, and they need to do a serious review at the end of the season, starting from the top of the PGMOL. Howard Webb, he was a very good referee in his time. However, his leadership skills leading a team of referee clearly shows that no reviews are being done during the week, no practice or training are being done during the week. And besides, you make the rules. Teach the referee to enforce them in the correct way. Howard Webb, this is on you. Make sure that you fix this going into next season. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join us every week.